Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode. You're going to do that again because, oh my gosh, could you be more disinterested? Do you need a minute? You need like a pep talk?
No, I was like, scratch my eye.
You got this. Babe, you got this. Okay. Ready? Hey, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Spill the Chai Tea with Britt and Joel. Not even a chance to mess it up this time.
Why?
Because every time you love to just mess up that part.
No, I don't.
So I'll introduce you for you.
Okay.
Perfect. We had a snow day this week.
Poof.
That was a rough
snow day and a delay. A snow delay.
Snow delay?
Yeah, it was like a snow day. We had like a whole day that was a snow day.
Yes.
And the next day was like a snow delay. They delayed an extra couple hours because of that snow, but it wasn't a snow day. It was a delay.
Okay, never mind.
Snow.
That was way too boring to explain all of that. So we live in North Carolina, and for the most part, we really don't get snow here. Yeah. We've lived here for, 9 years?
Yeah.
We lived here for 9 years, and the whole time, it's the second time we've had snow.
Yeah.
But the first time was different. The first time we had like a couple feet of snow.
No, we did not.
Yes, I'm going to look it up. Yes, we did.
Look it up. Your couple of feet of snow is like 2.5 inches.
No, because I remember the kids were out there having snowball fights. They were out there like making snow angels. I'm going to look it up, and you're going to be like, oh my God, babe, you're right. I was wrong. I'm gonna look it up.
Probably won't say that, but
I think so. Anyways, we had a bunch. This time, I think we had half an inch, maybe.
No. Raja the elephant was very, very sad about the snow.
I don't think elephants like snow.
That's why he was sad. Look at you. It's okay, Roger.
Anyways, Raja's stupid. Anyways, we had so much, chaos around this snow that we had in North Carolina. And so I grew up in Washington. He grew up in Chicago, right? Grew up in Illinois. And so I think that we're really used to snow. I remember going to the bus stop at my kids' ages. And we're like, my mom was like, yeah, just go out there and I'll let you know if it's canceled. And we'd be sitting there having snowball fights. What? Why are you laughing?
Because, whenever somebody says, I remember when, that's like one of the key indicators that you've become old.
Rude.
True.
First of all, disrespectful.
Second of all, still true.
It's still true, but still, anyways, listen. So, but no, we would be out there. We'd have these epic snowball fights with everyone. And I remember one time specifically, we're having this big snowball fight with everyone that was out there at our bus stop and the bus stop next to us. And I think we had been out there for an hour and we're just waiting for the bus. All of a sudden, our parents yell, "School's canceled." And we're like, all right. And then we kept going out there. We were having snowball fights. But we actively could have gone to school in the snow and it would have been no big deal for us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys were the same.
Well, it was bitter cold in Chicago. So you had one day of potential snowball fighting. And then everything after that was just ice. It was the snow that was so stinking cold.
Just too much, snowstorms and.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
I've only had one time in Chicago where I experienced a little bit of it. I don't think it was the worst though.
Yeah.
When we visited.
You gotta do the salt. You gotta get out to your car, preheat it, try to hope that the heat melts this is back in the day when the cars didn't have all the fancy features.
There's no click and start from your car.
Yeah, or even just the fancy features of the windshield wiper, the windshields now.
They had windshield wipers back in the day.
No, not that. The windshields and even the wipers now have a heat component to it where you can turn on that they're heated.
That's not a thing.
100% it's a thing.
There's no way.
I'm pretty sure that's even a thing on the Tesla cars now.
No.
Yes.
Do you remember the one time when we were in Chicago when you used to travel a crazy, way more than now? And I think I had just had, I had Luke. I don't know. They were all little though. So I had the 3 boys and they were teeny tinies and you left for a weekend for a work trip. And I was like, oh, well, it's snowing. I'm not driving in the snow because I don't know how to drive in the snow very well. So I just stayed home the whole weekend. And then I remember you got home and I was all excited, thank God, reinforcements are coming. And you call me and you're like, hey, babe. I was like, yes, Joel. You're like, have you gone outside the entire time?
No, I remember the driveway.
And I was like, no. Why, are you home? You're like, yeah, but I'll be about 45 minutes. I'm like, why would it be 45 minutes? I have to dig my way into the house. And you were really mad at me.
Yeah, well, because also you're supposed to get out there and shovel the snow consistently.
No one told me that.
The bottom layers turn to ice.
You know what? Literally.
And so then you have a real hardship because now you can take care of the outside upper layer, but then you have to lay out salt on top of the ice layer to try to get the salt to melt.
Well, guess what? I had 3 little kids.
No, I have frostbite.
When
I have frostbite still from that.
When you know what?
Oh, the tip of this finger right here.
Right there. That's your frostbite finger.
Right there.
You're an idiot. Literally, I had 3 babies and I didn't even feel bad a little bit. I said, all right, see you in an hour. I'm pretty sure that was my exact like attitude, actually.
So today we're talking about
Snow.
I hate this.
Anyways, that has been our week. But we had a lot of fun the last time we talked about Yellowstone. Joel had his little Kevin Costner moment where he spoke to Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner has not reached back out to him. It's okay. So we watched a ton of movies over winter break. I think we saw 4 movies in the theaters.
Did we?
I think so.
Cool.
We saw a bunch. And like we had free time, and we never have free time with our kids to go see a bunch of movies. And we also had a bunch of gift cards from Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we were like, let's go. And one of the movies that we saw was Mufasa. Can we try that again, please? One of the movies was Mufasa. You didn't even say that.
I know, because I just figured if I didn't say it, then you said it. You'd just be happy with
so
the way it was.
And I think all of our feeds are full of like Mufasa TikToks and Instagram reels, you know?
Yeah, or like the one that you did of Emmy and the boys.
What did I say about my brother? What do you say to my brother? Get in the jaws of my brother. Or this one, Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron, Pierre, Aaron Pierre is a very handsome man. I'm just saying that was one of the things.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Do you know who Aaron Pierre is?
No.
Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Oh, my Lord. I need to raise you better. This is not working well for us. Literally, they're all the things that are in our TikTok feeds, okay? We have the brother one, which if I was actually wondering if I sang it loud enough, if MJ would come in. If you sing that song in this house, what do they all do? All the kids.
I don't know.
They join in and sing it because they all know it. And I actually did hear the daughter version of it. What did you say about my daughter? I was going to have you do that one on TikTok.
No, that's fun.
You're really interested. Anyways, but Mufasa was good.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Okay, so first, what would you score it from 0 to 10?
I'll probably give it like a 9.
Wow.
Yeah, 8.59, easy. I thought it was excellent.
Really? 8.59.
Yeah.
Okay. I was contemplating, we did a video and we were all scored it. Liam scored it really low. Liam said a 5. I think he was in a mood that day. Let's not count him.
He's in a mood every day.
That's true, he's a teenager. Everyone else liked it. I would say probably like an 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And the only reason, like the movie, the quality of the movie, like they changed the story, which we'll get into a little bit.
You didn't like the soundtrack.
I didn't like the soundtrack. I liked the Brothers song. Like I thought that was epic.
Yeah.
And then I think that was like the main song I liked.
Yeah.
Like when he went from like little kid, when Mufasa went from like a little kid to older, they sang the Brother song, and it had 4 different actors in it. The 2 little kid actors that sang it, which they both had like amazing voices.
Yeah.
And then to the older ones, Aaron Pierre, and I forget the other kid's name. I just have the Aaron Pierre song stuck in my head. But so anyways, it was a great song.
Yeah.
But I didn't love the other songs as much, which is the only reason I think I would score it a little bit lower, because I love the regular Lion King soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like Hakuna Matata, come on.
Yeah.
Do you know that song at least?
Hakuna Matata.
Ain't no passing craze. Yeah, I love it. So that would be the only thing. But they did change it. Oh. You can keep going.
No.
You guys know what Joel sang to me at our wedding? Joel has a good voice. One day we'll get you to sing.
Nope.
Okay. Anyways, we will. We'll get him to sing one day. Okay, so if you have not seen it, spoilers are coming for sure throughout this entire episode.
100%.
We're gonna get into like all the details of it. So basically, Mufasa is obviously it's like Mufasa's actual story, because we were just
Really? I thought it was going to be Simba's actual story.
Thank you, smartass. Anyways, there's 3 Lion Kings, but prior to this one.
I don't know.
Like
they
us
did
growing
they did
up.
like a half one. They kind of confused us, I feel like. Then there's like even a TV show at some point.
Oh, we don't.
And there's like honestly, yeah, it got a little confusing.
Because they had Lion King, like the first one, Lion King 2, which
And they had
MJ
like a
loves,
2.5.
and then Lion King 1.5.
1.5.
But that was like Timon and Pumbaa's story, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Lion King 2, MJ's obsessed with because it has like Scar's nephew or something, and then Simba's daughter. So of course she loves
I think
it.
it's his son, isn't it?
No, it's his daughter.
No,
I know, 'cause they love
Scar's
her.
nephew.
Scar's
Son.
nephew. No, baby. In Lion King 2, it's Scar's nephew.
Oh, I thought it was his son.
I've said 3 times now.
No, I'm just
I'm letting you know it's not true. No.
Okay.
And then it's Simba's daughter. And I know that because they have a little romance and MJ loves it.
Cool.
Which probably means she's gonna like the bad boys, and so we should be careful of this. It's like a
That's
precursor.
not the topic of this discussion.
So sorry, you don't know about Emmy dating. So that was that one. MJ loved it. 1.5, who knows? But then they have also a current show. Maybe it's not as, I think it's more current with at least with our boys, which is like Simba's son or something like that. The kids watched it for a minute. I don't remember watching it with them.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But anyways, there's a lot of these stories, and they redid Lion King a couple years ago.
They did
I didn't like that one
not
as
a live
much.
action, but they did like a new like
live action.
animated. No, it's not live
It's
action.
live action.
I don't know. Is that what it's
Live
called?
action.
They used real lions,
No, but they like made it seem like they used like real lions.
so that's not live action.
It's not
That's
cartoon.
CG.
It's like live action.
No,
It's like Lilo and Stitch is live action, and they're gonna like CG him in.
there were no real people in the entire movie.
It doesn't matter. It's still live
So
action.
that's not, by definition, that cannot be live action.
No, live action is like
Live
it
action
looks
means
like
you're
real.
alive.
No, live action like it looks real, and then there's animated. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Are we gonna fight about everything that we talk about?
That's our whole marriage, so probably. Anyways, so they had that Lion King a couple years ago, and so this one like tracks back. So it starts out with Timon and Pumbaa. They get tasked to watch. I forget her name. Simba's daughter.
Kiara.
Is that what her name is? Kiara? I can't remember. We're so sorry. But they get tasked to watch Simba's daughter.
And she's like afraid because there's a
Yeah.
thunderstorm coming in, and Simba's like, I gotta go to do something and something.
Yeah, and Nala.
Yeah, and then the thunderstorm's coming, and she's like, I'm scared.
I'm scared because she's little.
And Timon and Pumbaa are kind of like idiots.
No,
So-
they're like no, and then Timon and Pumbaa got scared,
Right.
so that they weren't really helping her. Also,
then-
why did Simba let Timon and Pumbaa watch her?
Timon
Like,
and
what a
Pumbaa.
horrific like
Timon and Pumbaa literally
parent
raised
decisions.
Simba.
is.
They even said that at one point. They said, "We raised your father."
Joel, they let him eat bugs. A lion ate bugs growing up. Obviously, didn't do a very good job. Anyways,
Look at the king he became. Look at the
that was
king
his
he became.
circumstances, not Timon and Pumbaa.
Look at the king he became.
Because of Timon and Pumbaa.
Part of it.
No, it was Hakuna Matata.
Don't be a
That's
Timon
what
and
I said.
Pumbaa hater.
I'm not a Timon and Pumbaa
You're
hater.
acting. You're totally acting like a hater.
No, but anyways, the real hero of this story was Rafiki. And Rafiki came in and said, let me tell you a story of how your grandfather used to be scared of storms too. Used to be scared of storms too.
Yes, actually, it was a really cool way for them. This is why I rate it so high. Is they're so creative in intertwining really 3 generations of the
It was
storyline.
beautiful.
So
Yeah.
you have Mufasa generation 1, you've got Simba generation 2, then you've got Kiara. I think that's her name. Generation 3,
Yeah.
right? And so, but then you have all of them somewhat involved in the
Yeah.
main fabric of the story.
That was a good way to bridge together like all of our history, all of our childhoods, I think, through this movie.
Yeah.
Because then it was like our generation and then like even like the boys' generation of knowing more of like obviously Simba. It was great.
Yeah.
So Rafiki then goes on to explain Mufasa's story.
Yeah.
And now it's different than the original like animated Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Because from what I remember, and Emmy's out there watching Lion King actually right now, and she just watched the Mufasa dying part. I go out there, I was like, what's wrong? She was like, him died. And I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, yep, left you alone for that pivotal moment in your life. So sorry. That was terrible. And she
She's
would've
already
known
watched
you
this before, though. That's not the first time she's seen it.
I know, but usually we're with her in that scene, and usually I don't think she remembers that. She's watched it in years. Anyways, where was I going with that? I lost my track of thought. Anyways,
I think
so
it's train of thought.
track of thought, train of thought. I lost both. I don't care.
You lost the train and the
I lost
track
the
that the train is on.
If the track makes sense too, I lost the track. I went off the tracks. I don't know.
Yeah, you combine. That's called a
I
mixed
think I
metaphor.
did.
You
Who did I
combine.
get that from?
Yeah, I don't
You always do that.
know.
Anyways,
I'm a metaphor
so it goes into the first Lion King. The story is that Mufasa and Scar were brothers, but Scar was like the runt of the litter and then challenged Mufasa once to be king and lost, hence the scar on his eye. That was the story. I'm pretty positive in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, it's different. So it starts out with Mufasa and his parents, and something happens, like they're down in like this thing, right? How do they get separated?
It's like the gorge. Basically, there's
That's
like
right.
it's like a drought season,
Yeah.
and they're waiting for the rains. All of a sudden, the rains come. It's awesome, and
they all get
Mufasa's
excited.
playing in the water
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's right.
And then the big, it's kind of it's flooding basically.
Yeah.
Like it can happen kind of instantly, and so that's basically
Flash
what happened, like a flash flood, exactly. And so then Mufasa gets trapped in the waters. Basically, the dad jumps into the water to try to save him, doesn't work, and then the water just like throws him into the stream.
He goes down to the stream, then he goes off the cliff, right?
Right,
With
and
the
then
waterfall.
and then he like kind of goes unconscious, and then wakes back up, basically floating for who knows how long.
Oh, and I love this part. So when he wakes up, all of a sudden this kid's like, "Uh-oh, you want to know a secret? You want to know a secret?" And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm not supposed to tell the secret." He's like, "What? What's the secret?" He's like, he's like, "Run," or something like that. There's an alligator
The crocodile's
behind you.
gonna get you.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, this guy or this other lion helps him and saves his life. But when he gets out, the mom is like,
There's an important part. So this is one of the things that I love about Mufasa is the imagery and like the callbacks to it. So as Mufasa's in the water and he's trying to get out, and like there's the bank and he can't get out.
Yeah.
So then he's like trying to climb out, and then Scar, who has a different name, I'm forgetting his name. Taka. So then Taka comes. Taka grabs Mufasa's paws and basically like reaches out his claws to like dig into
really
his paws, to try to save him. And that's what happens. Well, anybody that watched the first movie, or this, like the scene where Mufasa eventually dies, it's the exact same thing where Scar pounces on the paws and Mufasa kind of has this look, but then he lets go. And I think this is kind of one of those like brilliant callbacks where it's this reversal. And that's the thing about the movie. There's so many reversals.
So many.
Where you actually see that moment in Lion King 1, in the Mufasa story, you see it flipped.
Yeah.
Where that's actually the moment where Taka, aka Scar, actually saves Mufasa from the waters, from that stampede.
And he didn't have to. Like, honestly, like the rule for Taka from his dad, the king of his pride at the time, was don't save them.
Right.
Like
don't let outside people come in.
Yeah, like we don't allow outsiders at all. Like, we don't want them. So that's why already his mom was like, he was like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, why did you just save him? Like, your dad's not gonna like this.
Yeah.
So they then proceed to go on to their pride. Right. And at this point, there's multiple lion prides. So in the Lion King, it's like everyone's like a family, like they're all together, all different animals. It's a whole circle of life thing. And there's like one big lion pride. In this movie, in Mufasa, there's tons.
Yeah, there's out
many
in the
different
Sahara, right? Like the African wilderness basically, and so there's like multiple prides that are out there.
Yep.
But there's a storyline in the beginning, part 2, where the mom, Mufasa's mom, is basically like giving this vision to Mufasa of a land called Malele.
Yeah.
And Malele is like it's the promised land.
Yep.
It's like this land of milk and honey. It's beautiful. It's going to be glorious. Like you're not going to have drought. Like plants and animal, like everything that you need is going to be there. And so Mufasa has this thing in his mind, like, hey, I'm supposed to go to Malele. Like that's the place that rescue is going to happen. And so then he ends up over in this place, and then he ends up having this conversation with Taka's dad, and Taka's dad basically wants something to do with him.
Yeah. Well, and part of it though too is because Taka's dad is like, I want you to be this person. Like, I don't want anybody else coming in here. We don't want outsiders coming. Like, we don't want to mess this up, right? And I think there's a version of Malele for all of them, right? Like they're all thinking about it at some level, right? Even this.
Yeah, it's a shared, like, this is I'm a history nerd, right? But it's a shared story. There's a shared story across civilizations of this idea of the promised land.
Yeah.
This idea of like, it's just like, it's beautiful. And so even this pride has heard of these rumors of this place, but every pride deals with it differently. And it seems like Taka's pride is basically like, that's like a far-fetched idea.
It's a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale. Like, don't buy into that.
Taka's dad is not very like
Taka's dad's an idiot, dude.
Yeah, he's kind of
he's like the epitome of
who?
Like,
who are you liking him to?
Huh?
Who are you liking him to?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like he's just like lazy. He's like lazy. He honestly, what it is he's kind of like the epitome of like what I was gonna say is like of a patriarchal society.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like the men do all like get to enjoy all the good stuff, sit back, relax. The women have to do all the work.
His rule for him and his son was that the men of this pride, we sit and we nap.
Yeah.
And Taka's like, I don't want to sit and nap. So hold on, before we get there. So then what happens, like, so the mom and Taka bring Mufasa back, and the dad instantly is like, we don't let outsiders, like, kill him, I smell his blood, it's different. And then basically it comes down to they have to do a race. Taka and Mufasa have to race to this tree and back. And Mufasa's like, I'm the fastest lion there is. Because his parents always told me he's the fastest. I'm the fastest lion there is. Like, we can do it. But because of everything that happened in the water, he's terrified of the water and won't swim, won't go in the water.
Yeah,
So,
it's basically a trauma. Like, it's like
total drama.
legitimate PTSD.
Yeah, because I mean, he also just happened too, right? So he's scared. So Taka then was like, oh my God, I always wanted this. Like, I always wanted a brother in my pride. So like, let's race. Come on, we can do this. You can do this. He's like encouraging Mufasa, you've got this and all this. And they race and they start. And through the race, he's like, Mufasa's winning. Like, he's doing really good. And then the water comes. And Taka's like, bet, I'll go in the water, no problem. Goes in the water. And Mufasa then starts to lose because he tries to avoid the water, all these things. And throughout the race, Taka basically like lets him win because the dad says, if you lose, you die. If you win, you can stay in our pride.
Right.
And so at the end, Taka literally helps Mufasa win, which is crazy knowing their future.
Yeah.
It's wild. So gets back, but the rule is from his dad was like, okay, Mufasa can stay, but he gets to stay with the women. So going back to like that patriarchal society, the men sit and nap all day while Mufasa then goes off with the women, which that was the best thing that could have happened. I think one of the reasons Mufasa was such a great king.
Yes.
Because the mom, like basically the adoptive Taka's mom was like, hey, like, we're going to find your pride. Like, we know your mom's still looking for you. Like, don't ever give up hope on that. Right.
Yep.
And then teaches him to hunt.
Yep.
And it's like to listen and to trust your senses and to smell and the things that the boy lions never were taught and never learned because literally their rule was nap. Yeah. And Taka hated that.
Yeah. So I think like one of the things about the movie is it destroys like preconceived notions of class systems.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's like men do this, women do this. And instead it's like, hey, there's actually something really important that you can learn. Mm-hmm. And so then what sets Mufasa apart from every other lion basically is that pivotal time that he gets to train with, you know, the women who are like brilliant, who are the ones that hunt for the pride, right? Yep. So he gets this skill, and that skill set is actually the very thing that sets him apart to actually help him through this massive journey. But it also ends up being the very thing that creates the divide between it creates between him and Taka.
Well, and I think that again, Taka's watching this. He's like, wow, like Mufasa's learning all these things, and my mother loves him. Right. And the dad is very big on like, I mean, like be the head honcho, like be the masculine, be this, and, you know, make sure everyone knows you're strong and not weak. But Taka's like a coward. Taka's not very fearful, or he's not very brave. He's very fearful. Right. And he doesn't have those skills to stand on.
Yeah. So I think he's fearful of letting people down.
Yeah. But I don't think he was ever taught true bravery. Because really, what do we always tell our kids about being brave? What does being brave mean? It's being scared and still doing something. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared.
Yeah, it's what you do in the midst of fear.
Yeah, so bravery. I always tell my kids, you can be brave and still scared. Like brave people aren't, it's not just the lack of fear.
Yeah.
You know, like you stand up and you keep going. And so I think that then a moment happens in this movie, like it fast forwards, right? And they become brothers and they're like, they love each other, they have each other's back. But again, it's just like that rift continues to grow and grow as Mufasa gets really good at this tracking and hunting and all these things. And Taka gets great at napping. But he's like so dissatisfied and doesn't want that and wants more. And I think at this point, he's seen that there is more that can be offered to the men. Yeah. Right? But then Mufasa is like, I want my parents. Like, I want this concept of Malele. I want to go there. Like, he's also dissatisfied, but he's very loved by Taka's mom. Yeah. Right? And so then something happens. The outsider lions finally come. And you see them, they're like white lions. Like they're very, like they look completely different than Taka and then Mufasa. And they come in and try to attack the mom. And it's Mufasa and Taka's mom. And then all of a sudden, Taka comes in and watches. But when he sees the outsiders come, Taka runs. He ditches. He gets scared. He bounces. He's like, I'm out.
And the mom, I think, sees it.
No, the mom for sure sees it.
Yeah, so the mom saw it. And so then Mufasa basically steps in. And mom's just like, you got to leave. They're going to kill you. And he's like, I won't. And so then Mufasa basically fights off two lions. And in so doing, he actually kills one of the lions. Well, that one lion that he ends up killing ends up being the son of the enemy outsider lion's pride like king guy. The head king guy. Yeah. And so then there's now it's that insecurity and vulnerability is even deepened in Taka's heart because now he feels horrible about the fact that he abandoned his mom and Mufasa. But then there's also a bit of resentment that starts to grow. Oh, yeah. He's like, well, Mufasa stayed. And so it's deepening the divide between Mufasa and Taka in a way that's going to become pretty like unsurmountable in the future.
Well, and the story got a little cloudy. Mufasa and the mom come back to the Pride, and the dad knew. The dad knew what happened. So obviously Taka went and told his dad. But Taka's dad tells him, lie. Don't tell anybody what happened. Don't tell anyone that you saw this. Like good kings lie.
Yeah.
Is what he tells them. And then did the dad tell Mufasa good job? I feel like I remember that, but maybe that didn't happen.
I can't remember. I just remember at the very end of it, the dad was just like, when they realized, because they didn't believe him at first. And then Mufasa did the whole smelling thing. Basically, was like, they're this far out and they're coming. And they're huge.
Because they thought that was like just a few of them.
Right. And so then the king basically sends a scout out. The scout comes back and is like, everything Mufasa said is right. And then the king basically realizes we're going to die. Yeah. And so he wants to keep the bloodline safe. So he basically commissions Mufasa to take care of Taka. And then that's when they start their journey out.
And Mufasa doesn't want to go. He's like, no, I'm going to stay. We're going to fight. Like, we can do this. Yeah. But he's like, no, this is like, Taka has to leave to continue this on. And so, so they leave. And then the mom basically comes in and tells Taka, like, I forgive you. It's okay. But like challenges him, like, you'll find your bravery. Like, you'll be okay. You'll find it. And so the mom like didn't shame him for it, which I thought was like so sweet as like a mom. Like, didn't shame him, like understands like his weaknesses and was like, keep going. So they leave, and then you find out that like the Pride dies, because like these outsiders are just monsters. They just come in and just like destroy it all. So Taka and Mufasa they go on this hunt to find Malele, and in that time they find Sarabi. Yeah. Which is the coolest thing, because like obviously Sarabi and Mufasa and the regular Lion King are together. Yep. So Mufasa finds Sarabi, but Taka likes her. Yep. And Mufasa's like, I'm not interested in no girls. Like, I'm not looking. And so he keeps trying to help his brother put on this good front to like get Sarabi to like him. So keeps saying all these things like, oh, tell her this. Tell her you smell the flowers from her pride. It'll be so much. And just keeps lying for him and keeps saying like all things that Mufasa can see and Mufasa can notice, tells Taka to go say those things.
Yeah, and I think, halfway through that or whatever, he realizes that he does like her too. Yeah. But he wants to like set up his brother. And the problem is like Taka is just never honest with himself and what he does. He tries to emulate another person. And then Sarabi's brilliant. And she finally realizes this isn't you. Like this is Mufasa. And then there's again another scene where there's like a stampede and Mufasa saves Sarabi. And
but then she gets knocked out. And so he literally like goes on top of her to save her and then moves last minute and tells Taka, hey, go say you did it.
Yeah. So
she's brilliant. She's a boss.
And that bird comes. What's the bird's name?
Oh, I don't remember his name.
The peacock. No, the not peacock.
Toucan.
The toucan. Toucan. Toucan?
The toucan.
The toucan.
The toucan comes to save the day. The toucan. I was like, pecan and pecan. No, toucan's not a thing. It's not even okay.
So that bird, that's kind of a funny whole story.
What's the bird's name?
It's the bird that flies.
Okay.
And so the bird comes, and then they meet Rafiki on the journey. So the interesting thing about this, and we'll like speed this up. Basically, the interesting thing about this is that now you've got 3 lions. Yep. You've got an adopted lion, you've got like this royal pride line, and then you've got Sarabi, who's like also royalty. I think the daughter of a pride, and that pride had gotten destroyed by the same outsiders or whatever. You've got this bird that jumps in. That's kind of like the scout, servant, help person. And then they find Rafiki, and Rafiki is this like he's wild, a weird monkey, magical monkey.
But his story, he was this weird monkey that got kicked out of his tribe.
Yes.
Because he knew too much and they didn't like it.
They didn't like anything that was different from them.
And he was disabled, right? Because like he wasn't able to do things.
He hurt his leg.
And they also didn't like that.
Yeah, so there's this whole thing. So then all of a sudden in this odd way, they all come together. Yep. And Rafiki's story is so fascinating because he has a vision of Malele. Oh, yeah. And in Malele, he sees a tree and he sees him with his brother. So Rafiki believes that his brother is waiting for him in Malele. Yeah. And then you've got Mufasa and Taka, who are adopted brothers, same kind in terms of they're both lions, and yet their brotherhood actually ends up being broken throughout this entire thing because the outsider lions are tracking them, and basically Taka starts to realize that Mufasa kind of has everything going for him. They go up into the snow mountains.
Well, and this is when Sarabi starts to pick up on everything and basically says, Mufasa, like, it's you.
Yeah, she picks
it's not
Mufasa.
Taka. And I think Taka overhears.
Yeah. And so then Taka basically like turns turncoat, like is a Judas.
And he goes and he finds the outsiders and it was like, he's pissed. He's like, I choose you guys. I'll help you.
I'll help you.
I'll
help you track him.
Which is wild to me that like they grew up their entire lives together and then one girl changed everything. But obviously that was just like the last straw.
Yeah, that's the, what do they call it? That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
This was an ongoing thing, and at any point in time, Taka had the opportunity to rectify those things, to deal with it in humility, to be honest, to triple down on who he was and the good things about himself. Yeah. But instead, he chooses to betray his people, and he lets this jealousy just absolutely go like, you know, explosive in his whole mind and body.
Well, and then what happens is that then they finally get to Malele. It's a real place. It's beautiful, but the animals don't, like, they're not really like a cohesive unit. They're all kind of for themselves, but they just live there in peace and in unity, or in like, not in unity. They live there in peace. Yeah. Right. And so then finally the outsiders come because they're like, we don't want outsiders here, like the giraffes and all these other animals, like we don't want the outsiders coming, we don't want these other lions to come and destroy what we have here. And he's like, no, Mufasa, no, we're not gonna let that happen, like they're not even here, it's fine. And then Taka's in the back. All of a sudden the outsiders come in and Mufasa basically puts it up to all the animals and was like, we can do this, but we can only do this together. If we all fight, they will lose. And so they do, and they fight, and at the very, very end, they have a moment where Mufasa's gonna die, and actually Taka saves him.
Yeah, it's the replay of that moment. The fascinating thing about Mufasa's deal is the last fight scene between him and the big king lion. Yeah, that king lion's massive. The white lion is huge. They end up in the water, and when he's in the water, again, remember like the motif, like the big themes. The water is this place of chaos. It's this place of destruction. The water is what he's terrified of. It's like PTSD and trauma, and it's in the water that the final scene happens. Of course. And he's basically losing. But remember the thing that separates Mufasa's ability to hear, and so he can hear a massive rock, like boulder, that is falling into the water and coming in, and he basically recognizes in that moment how to win. And he kicks the lion off the last second, and the lion gets trapped underneath that boulder and basically drowns. Then Mufasa comes up and out of the water, and he's like dead, basically can't do this anymore. And Taka's waiting for him, and so Taka basically saves him.
I think the lion tries to come up last minute or something like that. I remember Taka helped him. Like he did need Taka's help.
Yeah, at the very end, Taka basically defended Mufasa and said, "No, this isn't right. You said you weren't going to kill him or something like that." And then like that whole thing kind of happened. I don't remember
the exact.
Where there was this redemptive moment for Taka.
Yeah, and so Taka did. It was like the nails in there helped him up again.
Yep. Same
thing. And then Sarabi comes, and then when Sarabi comes, Taka leaves.
Yep.
And then at the end, through that fight, because remember, he did help fight, because I remember that's how he got the slice on his eye.
Yeah, because that was him helping big lion. The big lion swiped at him, and that's where he got that mark.
But that was him helping. And so then at the very end, and this is the part where Joel and I like struggled with a little bit. At the very end, like Taka made a lot of poor decisions, but Taka did help him in the end. Taka did do something, like, and he had this redemptive moment. But he said, hey, like, I want to be here, but like, and then I think Mufasa was like really struggling to like let this go, because obviously like he almost destroyed all of them. And so he's like, no, like I'll stay, but like you can now. So I always remember this. So I never forget. You can call me Scar.
And to me that was, I think, the moment where he establishes for himself who he was going to be.
Yes.
And that's the saddest part of the whole movie for me, is that I think up until that point, Scar had that opportunity to still be Taka, but to live out redemption, to live out a new life. And instead, by taking on shame, right? He decides to not exchange that shame for grace. He then takes that shame and he lives in that shame. And then he decides, and that basically is what defines him. And then the inverse of that, so that happens. So you have these two, one adopted, the other, both lions that are supposed to be brothers, and basically that brotherhood is broken. Then you've got Rafiki, who's there the whole time, and Rafiki goes to the tree. He finds a tree in Malele, and when he finds the tree, he's expecting his brother, but no brother's there. But then Mufasa comes, and then Rafiki realizes, he goes, oh, he's like, looks at Mufasa, he says, I do have my brother. And he goes, you're my brother.
I cry on that part.
Yeah. And
It was such a
again,
beautiful
that to me is
movie.
that bigger story also
Yeah.
of just unity in the midst of diversity and saying, hey, like, yeah, I'm a lion. Yeah, you're a monkey. Yeah, there's this, crazy bird that's following us around everywhere.
Right.
And yet, if we have a unity of thought and unity of mind, unity of vision, that we can unite around this thing and that we can be a cohesive kind of structure, like unit, like a family, And
But that's something that's so cool is that it's like at the end, all these different like tribes of animals, all these different prides of lions who'd been destroyed by the outsiders, they all come together to live in the Pride Lands, to live in Malele, right? And I think that part was really cool. But I mean, I don't know. That movie was just like, the story was beautiful. And again, the story of Taka and Mufasa was not like true brothers like in the original movie, but I liked this story better.
Yeah, I like the adoption idea of it.
And it definitely mirrored Simba's story, which is sad. Right, that neither Simba nor Mufasa grew up with their parents.
Yeah.
But,
But every time you look up into the stars, all the kings of the prides from before shine down on you.
I think Mufasa said that at some point. There was a lot of those kinds where it's like, for us, we picked up on a lot of that. And I don't know if our kids picked up on all those things, but these were like, it's like one of our big movies growing up.
I know, yeah, for sure.
You have a lot of differences with because like we're still like almost 4 years apart.
Yeah.
And so some of our movies that we grew up with are different, but this was definitely one for both of us.
For sure.
But okay, some of the other things in this movie, Blue Ivy and Beyonce were in it.
Yeah.
Which I think is crazy.
Oh, that was crazy. At the very end, the mom comes back.
Yeah, so
he finds the mom
No. Nala.
Mufasa's mom.
No.
Yes, Mufasa's mom at the very end.
Oh, her. I thought you meant
finds
the
him in, but they find out the dad died.
So wait a second. So who was Beyonce? Was
Beyonce
she Nala?
was no. Beyonce was Sarabi. We never see Nala in the movie.
Yeah, you do.
No, we see Kiare.
I thought at the
Nala,
very end doesn't Simba and Nala come back together?
Yeah, but I don't think that's the main
they
character.
Do. Nala, Simba come back and they have a new sibling.
Yeah, I think it's the mom. I think it's Mufasa's mom.
I just know that Beyonce's in it. Blue Ivy is Kiara, is like Simba's daughter. Mm-hmm. And then there's some other big names. But yeah, it was just amazing. And again, I think all of our boys did love it. MJ loved it. Although MJ did.
She got scared.
She got a little scared.
Yeah, a couple points. That's normal.
Yeah, but she loves animal movies in general.
Yeah.
So, okay, what is our next movie that we want to go see? What's our next big one that we want to go see together?
Well, I don't know.
You have no new movies you want to go see?
I don't think so. We saw Gladiator 2. That was good.
Ooh, Gladiator 2. No. Which ones do we want to go see next?
I don't know. I'm waiting for all the new Marvel movies to come out.
I can't see any more Marvel movies. I'm good.
You can't see any more. You'd never even watched any of them in the beginning.
I watched all of them with you fools.
No, you really did.
All of them. Anyways, okay. You guys help us out and let us know the next movie that we should go see.
Sounds good.
It sounds good? Will you actually go watch it? What if they say that like a musical is the next one to go see?
We probably won't see that. The next episode, the sea will be empty.
Fine. MG will be there.
Enjoy.
Rude. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. We want to hear what you guys thought about this whole Lion King Mufasa story, and also challenge us and let us know what to go see next.
And there's a pivotal moment when the elephants came. They're not Indian elephants, not Raja's family, but Raja's related family.
Raja's fake. He has no family.
And the elephants are actually called upon by Mufasa to help. They don't do it.
You're full of it. Nobody asked about Raja's story. Don't. Anyways, bye guys.